We are back with another edition of Live from Redhook here at the Function House, back from our 1-week vacation, 4th of July.
Needed that week off.
We needed that week off, is right. But what better way than to welcome back all our guests with none other than DJ Nick Russo.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Official music group, The
Official
Plug.
music group.
He has made it. He has made it.
Still trying.
So where are you from?
Speak into the mic, my
Speak
friend.
into the mic.
Where are you from and how'd you start DJing?
Born and raised in Brooklyn, Marine Park.
My hood.
My hood.
Did you know Mike? Because Mike's from Marine Park.
I heard of him.
Okay.
We've never met, obviously. Yeah, so I started like every other DJ in a basement with records.
Nice. What year was this?
15 years ago, so that would be 2002.
Very good. Good math.
Went to college for math. No. The biggest inspiration, I guess, when I first started was the movie Beat Street, like that. We were just talking about that earlier. I saw that movie, and believe it or not, I started as a b-boy.
You used to break dance.
Used to break dance back in the teen nights.
You still got moves?
I got the moves.
You're going to incorporate that into your DJ set tonight?
I might do a little handstand action, do a little.
That might be the first, right? We've never had anybody.
Nah,
break
so
dancing.
We had DP1's actually a good break dancer. He was on the show.
a lot of guys started from breaking. So I started breaking at the clubs. I don't know if anyone remembers the Club Panache. It was a teen night. Shout out to Rob T, Trippin' Promotions, throwing it back. So we'd go in the circle, we'd do a little breakdance thing, and then I found out my buddy JJ's brother was the DJ in the other room. So basically snuck into his room one day, saw the turntable set up, and I was like, instantly I was like, I want to do that. I knew right from there, from my one scratch on that turntable, that I wanted to be a DJ.
So did he help you out get started?
Nope, nobody helped me out. I learned about Fat Beats, record shop. We would take the train, me and my boys. We would graffiti all over the trains. We'd walk up Canal Street, rob.
Wow, you used to write graffiti too?
All the elements besides. I tried rapping, but no bueno on that.
Well, Marine Park was really ghetto. So.
Super ghetto,
That was
super
a
ghetto.
tough neighborhood.
So we'd take the train to up Canal Street. We hit the scrapyard for the markers.
Yeah.
We'd rob CDs from the Asian people. Then we make the Fat Beats, and that's when like I started buying vinyl, and just bought vinyl, went to my basement, and just practiced like
Hip hop?
all hip hop. Yeah, started out as a hip hop DJ. Nobody really taught me how to do it. I watched those videos, instructional VHSs back then. I think the Executioners had one, and then
Like the battle tapes,
like
right?
DMC stuff. Yeah. So I was like trying to do that at first, but I realized like to that type of level of scratching was just intense. So I just basically learned how to just like play records. Like basically I was a music selector. So like when I started doing spots, I basically was like known for my music selection and stuff like that. From there, I got my first gig. It was my next door neighbor's communion. So they gave me 50.
Shout out to your next door neighbor.
Shout out to John Davidson. They gave me $50. I had these Gemini speakers from from Canal Street, one turntable on one side, and one Newmark Axis 8 CD player. So I was going from like vinyl, like Fat Joe What's Love, to like a Barry White CD. It's terrible.
How pumped were you for that?
Oh, it was awesome though. I had my Spencer's Gift strobe light on one top of the other speaker. On the other speaker, I had like that disco ball, Spencer's Gifts.
Kings Plaza, right?
Kings Plaza, bro.
Yeah.
Good old days.
So what was your first club gig?
So first club gig was actually when I went to high school at St. Edmunds. One of the kids in my physics class, he booked me for this place called Cristal. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was in Brooklyn. And
What place?
Cristal. It was, I don't know if it was a teen night or, it was definitely a teen night because obviously I was underage. So I show up, DJ Nooch was a DJ back then, some other guys. I showed up with my Axis 8 CD players because I didn't know what the club was going to have. Everybody laughed at me. I'm like, I'm that guy now, then. And now I'm like, these guys come into the clubs with their controllers and stuff, and I'm like, I used to be that guy too. One time I learned. From there,
You
that was just like
corrected that mistake, though. So
crafted at a young age.
good for you.
So from there, I got into the bar scene actually first. My sister was a bartender at this place, Fat Daddy's on Flatbush. DJ didn't show up. So my sister's like, oh, my brother's a DJ, you know, calls me up. I'm 16 at the time. Show up, killed it, gave me a residency. So like I started there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then finally got my first gig in the city, which was at Mad River, which I've been there for 9 years, and I still run the account, booking DJs there and stuff. And then from there, another bar, Metro 53, and then finally my first club gig was Libation. The owners of Metro 53, shout out to Terrence and In Good Company. They've helped me out a lot in my career. I basically had to beg them to get into Libation, because back then Libation was a hot spot in the Lower East Side. And
They own a few spots in the city, right?
yeah, Refinery Rooftop, Park Tavern, Trademark, yeah, and a bunch of spots in Bungalow Bar in Rockaway.
Yep.
So I basically had to beg Terrence's brother to give me the shot to do Libation. And they finally gave me an opportunity after being a resident there for 2 years. They finally gave me the chance. I was on the 3rd floor. I show up with like a red button-down tie, like thinking I'm the man. 30 of my friends came, and from there they heard me and like they were like, we want to start using you more. Then from Libation, I did a brunch there. Some guy, Steve Morales, heard me. He now works at Marquee. He gave me an opportunity to do this place called C in Meatpacking. It was like a restaurant on the corner. Did that for a while.
You know, it's like that sugar candy place.
Yeah. I don't even know what it was, but that was like my first meatpacking type gig.
So that's the first promoter that put you on?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then after that, every time I would just walk into a venue, I would do a great job, and basically it just kept growing, like naturally. Like nobody helped me during my career. I didn't have an agent. I didn't have an older brother or a friend. It just all organically happened, even to where I am today. Like over the years, it just kept going. You know, I just kept pushing, and so then my breakout, what's the word I'm
Yeah,
trying to
your
think of?
breakout gig, right?
Was One Oak. I got offered the Wednesday night residency through Richie Romero, and I was doing every Wednesday for about a year and a half, and from there is when I started getting my name out there and heard and stuff like that.
So what was like your first night playing at One Oak?
Um,
Mentally, how did you go into that night?
I was definitely, I actually played there like 4 years before on an Easter Sunday. Randomly, I don't even remember how I got this gig. So I was familiar with the venue, but like the status of that place, I was like definitely nervous. But if people have been there before, the crowd doesn't really get there until a little bit later on. So I was playing for like an empty room for about an hour. So, and then I just got into my groove and stuff. I mean, I played with some of the greatest DJs, Jesse Marco, Ross One, Mr. Mauricio, Questlove. So that was cool. It was more about like the experience of being the opener, setting the vibe the right way, and then being able to listen to what they're doing. So
See, the thing about that club is you have to make sure you're on top of every new record that's out.
right,
Anytime anyone could
Can
walk
walk
through
up,
those
yeah.
doors, and they want to hear their tracks.
right,
So working there, it's actually like boot camp for
Yeah.
every other club.
exactly. I actually met Talib Kweli downstairs in the bathroom randomly. We connected, and I actually booked him to perform his album release party there, and we stayed in touch ever since. So a lot of cool things have happened from that spot.
So that's cool. You're getting into these places. You're
Right.
walking in. You're killing it. But how do you build a relationship for Official Music Group?
So basically, over the years of my career, it's been about 10 years in New York nightlife now. I've never burned a bridge. I was always humble, always, made sure I took care of the venue with the music. And over the years, I built all these relationships with all these venues and all these people. And it came to the point where I was basically DJing like 5-6 places a week, and I was like, I can't do this on my own. I need to start, putting other DJs on. I want to start doing other things instead of doing these spots that I've done for years. So then the concept came into my mind of like, I need to start some sort of agency or booking thing to, and I was DJing down at Art Basel in Miami, and my friend John Westbay, he's an artist too. He goes by the name of Westgard. We're in the hotel room, like, yo, I want to come up with a name for this, you know, this agency or this like, you know, music directing program that I want to come up. And he was like, within 15 seconds, he just goes, OMG. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, official music group. And it like happened like that. It's pretty cool how it happened.
It's cool.
It's a good name. It's a good name. So what are your plans, like your future plans for the official music group?
So right now we're basically, we're running 13 accounts. Some are in Brooklyn, some are in Jersey, most of them are in Manhattan. The future plans was to take over more accounts, basically help out more guys. I mean, as you know, the vision started as like a brand of DJs who are friends of mine or friends of friends. It's like a family-based, you know, company where I went out and I hear these guys spinning sometimes. Like for example, Fat Buddha. I've met a lot of phenomenal DJs from Fat Buddha who not necessarily have the plugs that I have or, you know, the connections that I have. So they're like playing at the same place all the time, and I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like, why aren't you playing other places? And that's when I was like, let me help you out. So I lended out my hand, you know, to them.
So, I mean, coming up, nobody helped you out, right?
Nah.
So why is it that you feel the need to help other people out?
I felt like since I didn't have that upper hand when I was younger, I put all this work by myself. And nowadays, it's more about the brand, the look, the image. It's not really about your skill anymore. So I feel like all these talented guys, you know, don't have that in that I have. So like the goal is to help out, find real talented guys that don't have that extra, you know, plug or whatever, and then to help them out. So that's like the whole concept behind it.
So is this like an end game for you? Like maybe like when DJing starts to slow down, is it I'm gonna sit back and run official music?
So the whole point is to eventually just do like the higher end corporate stuff, which we do a lot of as well. Be able to pick and choose the venues that I want to play instead of, right now I have that ability a little bit, but like I was basically playing 6-7 nights a week, like for 3-4 years, playing every night possible because I had to pay the bills. So now with official music opened up, I have the ability to, you know, take a day off or two and stuff like that, and be able to, the goal is to pick and choose which venues I want to do, and then, you know, make money off of the company itself.
So you're not necessarily managing DJs, you're basically managing gigs.
It's more of a booking agency at the time. I mean,
Okay.
at the moment right now.
Yep.
Eventually, the goal is to get contracts signed and stuff like that. It would be like a non-exclusive type thing though. But right now, basically just helping out friends. And I mean, as you guys know, we do stuff like overseas, in Japan and stuff like that.
Let's talk about how that all went down, because, you know, getting hooked up in Japan is not the easiest thing.
Right.
So how did that all come about for you?
So basically, I was DJing at this place called Hilo back in the day. It was in the meatpacking. Now it's called The Lively, I think. I met this guy who I owe everything to. His name is DJ Shinari. He basically heard me DJing, and he's from Japan, from Osaka. And he was like, yo, you're really dope, man. Like, I would love to send you to Japan. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard all this bullshit before from all these people in one oak. Oh, I got this gig in the Hamptons, I'll give you this. Nothing ever happened. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. Literally 3 months later, we were sitting down in front of a computer booking my flight to Japan. He was a big promoter out there. He took this random leap of faith with me, I guess, on my skill level from hearing me play, and was like, I want to book you out there. And he was an opener, he opened up for me. And he used to open up for a lot of 4 a.m. guys, and nobody treated him the right way. They never paid him. They would call him last minute for something. So I was like, I'm gonna take you under my wing. I will make sure you get paid every time you open for me, every time you work for me, because that's bullshit. You know, everybody should be at least getting paid. So then from there, I went to Japan. I met DJ Congo, DJ Haktu, DJ Lead, all amazing guys, DJ Henri, and I did a great job out there. I only played like 3 gigs, and then from there, when I came back to the States, I told him I could book them, because now I started getting this power to have the ability to book DJs in New York. And then I met DJ Ammo. Shout out to DJ Ammo. That was one of the best guys I've ever met in the business, the most humble. You know, there's very rare people in this industry that want to lend a helping hand, like we were talking about before. Ammo is one of those guys. So basically, when I met him, they were asking me to send another DJ, and I was like, I've known Ammo for maybe 2 months at that time, but I know that he had a lot of influence in New York nightlife booking DJs, and after even knowing him for that short amount of time, I felt like we were like brothers. Like even my boy DJ Encore, I met him, and we've only known each other for a short amount of time, but it's just that natural feeling when you know that you could trust somebody, and like I felt like I've known these guys for years. So I sent Ammo to Japan, and then me and Ammo started working together, and from there it's just like everything really started taking off.
So Ammo's actually going back there.
So Ammo actually leaves for Japan on Thursday, actually, yeah. So this will be his second time. Yeah, so basically when I met those DJs out there, I would book them in New York, and
What places were you booking them at?
In New York, Libation, that's one of the accounts that Official Music Group runs. The DL, which that's Ammo's team runs. Now that I took over the account at Slate, so I'm the music director at Slate, so I just booked DJ Lead there, DJ Henri there, and that to me is one of the most slept on nightclubs in New York. It doesn't have the relevant name of being the cool spot, but every time I play there, the crowd, the reaction, everybody's there for the music. It's not like how half these nightclubs are. Everyone's sitting like this on their cell phones, like this. That's a spot where you go and you rock, and people really react to the music. So once I booked them there, people were like, okay, so like Nick is gonna take care of us every time we come to New York. My friend from Belgium, who I met in Tokyo, he goes by the name of Vince. I just had him here playing with me at Libation and Slate, and he loved it. He killed it, did a great job. So now I'm establishing a relationship with him to build a connection with Official Music Group out in Belgium, and he has connections in Amsterdam and France. So it's a slow process, but the goal is to become an international booking agency with other countries and other people that I could trust out there.
So how long are these DJs going out there for? And how many cities are they hitting? How many clubs are they playing?
So the first time I hit 3 cities, I hit 3 clubs. Second time I hit 7 cities. I did a 3-week tour. I hit Singapore, I hit Hong Kong, Osaka, Fukuoka, Kagoshima, obviously Tokyo. Ammo's going, I think, for 10 days. I think he's hitting about 6 cities as well. And that's the hardest part, is traveling every day, new city. Shout out to my boy Be Real. He came with me on my second tour, and by like the 4th day, there's a picture that I won't forget. He's just on the train like this. Like literally, you can see his face, like traveling every day to a new city.
Once you get off that flight, it's just exhausting.
The
next week, it's exhausting.
The first day we landed, our flight was delayed. We landed, we had 45 minutes to get to the club and to play, like that night when I landed in Osaka. And I was like so shot, so out of it. But they treated me amazing, like I had a good set. Probably wasn't my best set because I was like drained, but it was just a surreal experience out there.
When do you think you're going to go back?
I'm actually going to be going back in September. I'm finalizing everything right now, but One Oak Tokyo is opening up in August?
August 26th, 27th.
Yeah. So I'm looking to hopefully be playing out there for that and hit up a bunch of other spots. It's for people that haven't been there. You've obviously been there. Like the way they treat the culture about hip hop, about DJing. It's something that you can't put in words. You can't describe it unless you've been there. Encore's now been there. We sent him a couple months ago, and he still calls me on the phone, like, because if you haven't been there, you don't know. Like, you don't know that feeling of they just stare at the DJ. They're like all about the DJ. It's like so different than New York. But that's what keeps, like, to me, the art of DJing alive, is like going to other cities where people really appreciate you.
And then when you go back, you'll hear all your mixes. So
you go back and you play these nightclubs and people don't give a shit about you, and then you're micromanaged and all this bullshit. I mean, just to say New York nightlife is not headed in the direction that I wish it would be going into.
It's gonna come back around.
Yeah.
I have a good feeling about New York nightlife.
Hope so.
So what other countries are you looking forward to trying to hit? Are you reaching out to any places?
I haven't, because like I said, over the years, just everything organically happens. I haven't actually like pitched towards like a new country or anything like that. But the next step is going to be a Euro tour. which they want me to go end of this year, but that's going to be a lot of traveling. September, Japan, and then they want me to go in October to Belgium. I think I'm going to push it back till next year. In April, there's a big week out there in Europe, a lot of festivals and stuff. And the guy Vince, he DJs a lot of festivals, so he's going to put me up. He's probably going to book me in Paris, in Amsterdam, and Belgium. And then I have some plugs in Switzerland and Madrid. Hopefully just make a little Euro tour of it.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So, what do you have in store for us tonight?
I'm basically just gonna play some music that I like. I'm gonna play some stuff that I've used to play like in the bar scene. I'm gonna play some stuff that I did in the clubs. So basically my career has evolved into doing more, I do a lot of high-end rooftops now, which it's more funk and like indie, so I'm gonna play a bunch of that stuff too. It's just more relaxed vibe where like I get to play the music that I like. Instead of like most of the nightlife, you have to play what they want.
The hits.
Well, you gotta play the hits. And I just watched the documentary Stretch and Bobbito, and like I feel like Stretch Armstrong when he felt like in like the 90s when he started losing love for music. I'm like I'm not connecting with this new music as much as I feel like I should be. So I feel like it's not as fun to play that type of music as it is to play like the funk and all the old school stuff that I like to play.
Well, it's dope. We're happy to have you here.
Appreciate you guys for having
Especially
me.
especially that you're a DJ that's actually helping other people also.
Right.
There's
It's
not
rare
many
to
people
find, yeah.
in this business that look out for other DJs, so it's cool to have you at the Function
Awesome.
House.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to get Nick Russo up on the decks.
Peace.
Peace.